Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Shooting Show. On this week's episode we join Chris Dalton as he heads out after some roebucks in some very unseasonable weather, and then we join Geoff Garrod for some pigeon shooting. But first, with an unexpected snow flurry, it makes Chris Dalton's job a little bit harder. Let's see how he gets on when he heads out.
So we've got 130 metres across the valley of doe. Thought there would have been a young buck with her, but she's on her own. And then we've had another doe and a mature doe come down in front of us. Neither of them are aware that we're here. We've got to press on and try and find a young buck. We're going to use the forward track on this restock site. But she's got no idea we're here. There's quite a big plateau and a basin here with some hardwoods on it, so I'm hoping we can find a buck in there. It's absolutely a beautiful morning to be out. It's not really the sort of conditions that we would want or expect for early roebucks, although it seems to be becoming the norm these days. We've had quite a cold snap, a little bit of a dusting of snow, which is unusual for us around the house. This will only last a few hours once the sun comes up. Recently restocked here, felled, just not a big area, probably about 150, 200 acres of replant. Very tricky terrain, as you can see, steep gullies, but ideal for deer. Quite a lot of deer tracks. One of the things about snow is you can see what's kind of knocking about. But deer on a really cold morning like this, especially when it's a bit unseasonal, the deer, often roe particularly, will lie up. They'll get tucked in a warm sort of bed somewhere and they'll just couch and wait for the sun coming up. So we've not seen masses of movement this morning, but we could have shot 3 roe, all of which are out of season. It's a bit like hen pheasants on a cock's only day this morning, and there's quite a few bucks kicking around on here, but we haven't seen one. I say we haven't seen one this morning, but it's just a pleasure to be out, and it's a great part of the world, this. It's not all about killing things, it's just monitoring, just watching. Don't shoot deer unless we've got a reason. But we will come back, hopefully, in a day or two when we've got something like the more sort of April weather that we'd expect, and see if we can find a buck wandering around then. So it's breakfast time now. No kidneys for Zosha. Better morning now, actually after the really cold snap it's thawed. I suppose it's probably about 5 or 6 degrees now, so it feels like 10 top coats warmer. Birds are singing, they've got that spring feel about it. We're coming down the other direction, down the valley, the wind's completely turned, and it's a better approach actually. We've got a real quite nasty section of open replant on here, and if there's deer in the wrong place you're hardly visible, but there's a small field here we call the 10 acre. And often there's deer just on the edge of it, just feeding overnight. We've got a bit of dead ground, so I'm just going to work over the lip and carefully look down. And if there's nothing on the edge of the field, then I can work down the valley, hopefully into the wind. The wind's sucking up the valley, so it's entirely the opposite direction. It's quite tricky going. It's going to be wet after all the snow, but it's a nice morning, so hopefully there should be something out. See an little tush on that. See it? You can see it. Get it nice and clear. Sit down. Okay, so I don't know how much of that you could see, but what we've done is we've come down the corner of the field here. There's a little doe feeding just on the edge of the bank in here, which obviously out of season. But there was a buck, a young buck on here, which we're watching for a while, and quite a tricky one. So what we've got to do now is I've got to work out how to get my crampons, ice pick and climbing ropes and canoe to swim over the river and go and sort this thing out. But the alternative is a hell of a long walk round, right the way up to the top of the head of the glen and then back round. And she's already keen to go off anyway. Wish I could train her to go and fetch it back. Well, it's going to be a tricky one this. I've done it before and it's murder. I could have rolled down to the river.
Next up, we join Geoff as he heads out for some pigeons over some laid barley. The conditions are right, but let's see if the birds come in.
Welcome to the Shooting Show. This week we're back out on crop protection on winter barley, but unlike the last time we're actually on laid barley. As you can see here, we've got patches of laid barley right the way through this little valley here, and the pigeons have found it and they're on it. I spoke to the farmer, he gave it the okay, so that's what we're out here to do this afternoon. So we've got a left to right wind, which means hopefully these pigeons are going to swing over these trees and come up across us. There's got a patch of laid in front of us, and there's another patch just the other side of the tram line. So that's where I'm hoping to do and concentrate all my sort of killing over these two patches. I'm not a great believer in shooting stuff out in the field that I'm not going to have no chance of picking up. I want to give myself every opportunity to pick up what I shoot. So we're just going to concentrate on these two patches just here. So, as you can see, I've got the Mossberg 410 out today. Ely extra long cartridges. I think there's going to be quite a few pigeons coming along this belt here and dropping into these really close patches. So it's absolutely ideal for the 410. So we're going to give it a whirl, see what happens. Well, there's one coming here. It might be the first one. Yeah, keep like that. Keep like that. No. No, we just, you know, we've just literally set up and we've just got in the hide now. A lot of activity here on all the little patches, but you know, the amateur in me has not bought any decoys, so we just need to get that first pigeon in the bag, put it on a flapper above the barley, and I'm sure all these pigeons here now will see that. There's one coming on here. Yeah, so this is the first pigeon that we've shot. Dropped it right in the pattern here, into the patch here. So I've got a flapper. Hopefully now anything that's passing will see this moving in the wind, then come round, give me a shot at it as it's going by. Well, we haven't been here very long, probably about half an hour now, and one thing that's very obvious is that pigeons, there's so many pigeons about. A lot of them are coming over, a lot of them are going into the trees, and I'm being very cautious on where I'm shooting birds, because we've shot a couple already that's landed outside the pattern, and the corn's that thick and that high that I just haven't found them. Haven't got my dog, because it's a little bit too warm, plus it's barley. You know, I'll probably bring it later on this afternoon. So I'm just really waiting for those pigeons that are just above the pattern. There's 3 out there, so it's going to be very pick and choose at the moment. He's swinging. He's coming over the hole. We'll look at Richard. Yeah. Well, what has happened here now, it hadn't gone quite according to plan. What we found out very quickly was the lade was quite deep. So every time I was shooting a pigeon in it, I was taking so long to try and find it, and some I didn't even find. So what I've been doing, after the sort of probably half an hour of being here, I've been putting all the cartridges that I know I've got pigeons down out in front of me, within a reasonable distance, or along behind me in the hedge or the other side of the bank. And I picked the decoys up, which are not included in here, and now at the end of the day I've got my wife Karen to bring the dogs down, and we're just going to let the dogs have a bit of a run here. So I've got a bit of an idea what I'm looking for out there in the corn. Drake, come in. George, come George. Good boys, come in. Come in.
Ruby.
Right, coming in. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Go on, get back. Here, Drake, good boy. No, that's not very good for the camera, is it, eh? Good boy. Good boy. Go on in. Go, Drake. George, come mate. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Well, as you can see, we've got the dogs out now. Good, George. Good boy. And good boy. Good boy. Sit. Good in. Yeah, as you can see, we've got the dogs out now. You know, Karen's brought the dogs back here now. It's nice and cool now as well. So, you know, I know it's not the best thing to be picking up in barley, but, you know, as I say, I don't like leaving many. We're going to give it 20 minutes of dogs. As you can see, Justin and Karen's got their dogs as well. So we know what we're looking for. And we're doing a good job at the moment. We're picking up birds that we know are in the area. And it's amazing how something like this, where the pigeon can hit, you know it's dead, you watch it kill it dead, it's just gone down, and it goes boom, underneath it, and you're just walking around. But the dogs, you know, that's what the dogs are great for, you know, picking it up. So we're doing a good job. Come on. Good boy. That'll do for you. Good boy. There's a good boy. There's a good boy. Good in. Good boy. There's a classic example of what I was explaining. That pigeon is right underneath the barley there, and we're standing here. Dogs come by, picked it up virtually beneath her feet. So, well, that didn't quite turn out how I'd planned it. I quite expected, when I've been watching this field here, these lay patches here, that, you know, the pigeons have been feeding on, that we'd get here, we'd build a hide, we'd get a few pigeons coming over. But first couple of pigeons we shot, I managed to find, put up on flappers to get them above the barley, and then the biggest thing that I found today was whatever I was shooting over the killing zone was so hard to find in this barley. So what we've done, I've got enough, I had 12 decoys out there, which in the end was enough to bring them in. And I was spending so much time looking for dead ones that I decided that what I'd done is I kept a heap of cartridges in my hide for any bird that I'd got down in the ground in front of us or along the back hedge here, and then at the end of the day I give Karen a ring. She brought the pack of hounds out. We've had a good look through here. We've had 20 minutes, half an hour looking through here, and we haven't got everyone, which is unfortunate because I hate leaving birds behind, but we've done a remarkable job in picking up. We've got a major amount of what I'd shot there. So we've picked up in here, got 78 in here, and you know, unfortunately there is a few left out there, but 78's the bag because that's what I've got in here. And all in all, you know, it's been an enjoyable day, but the biggest thing about the day for me personally was hide discipline. I mean, I could have unleashed quite a lot of birds going by, but because it was so hard to pick them up, I really did try and concentrate to get the birds over the killing zone, so I had a good chance at the end of the day of picking them up. I'm Geoff Garrod. Thanks for watching the Shooting Show. Hope you get enjoyment out of watching our efforts today on what was a frustrating day, but the bottom line, crop protection.
Sadly, that's all we've got time for on this week's episode of The Shooting Show. If you've liked what you've watched, make sure you like and subscribe, and if you're not a member of BASC, now's the time to do so. My name's Chris Castle, and this has been The Shooting Show.
If you aren't a member of BASC, it's time to join now. BASC, looking after your sport, looking after you.